Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at Factorn. So this is a new proof of work coin and we can already mine it. There is some guides. You can just go over to the Factorn homepage. Today we're not going to be looking at how to mine it. We're going to be doing a dive into Factorn and seeing what it's about. So mainly Factorn actually won the CoinBase Crypto Community Fund, which is basically a fund to grant recipients and been working to replace proof of work hashing by work that is of interest to the private sector as well as the academic community. So in theory, a proof of useful work, just not doing the useful work for jobs, if that makes sense. I'll get more into how that works later on in the video. So about Factorn, it uses integer factorization, obviously that's why it's called Factorn, as its how instead of hashing. The RSA cryptographic system has been widely used to secure data online by relying on the difficulty of factor integers. Banks today use it to secure their data. No other blockchain has been able to use factoring in the blockchain space. So in the banking sector, they use factorization because it's very secure, as in it's hard to find the prime numbers, but also easy to verify, if that makes sense. So there's no pre-mining, no pre-sale, no team allocation, no emission schedule. So it's mining only. So there's not going to be a reduction, unlimited supply but low reward for block discovery. So the block discovery comes into the terms of factorization, and we'll get a little bit more into that on the white paper. 1.5 years and less than 260 coins in supply. Circulating supply equals total supply at all times. So as you can see here on the Coinbase articles page, it does say here, this report updates on what Factorn blockchain, a Coinbase crypto community grant recipient, has been working on to replace proof of work hashing by the work of interest in the private sector as well as the academic community. And the code for the coin was launched in April 20 of 2022. And obviously it shows links to the white papers and stuff like that. So the fact that it did win the community fund program is kind of a good sign, because Coinbase is probably looking at it already. I know with a lot of smaller coins, Coinbase or Binance aren't exactly looking at it, but Coinbase probably has their eye on Factorn for the most part, just because it did win their community fund program. So that's good in terms of the price of the coin. But if we're looking beyond that, we can see here the digital security of banks and companies depend on RSA, a cryptographic system whose security is provided by the difficulty of factoring integers into their prime factors, and in particular the difficulty of factoring integers that only have two prime factors where both have exactly the same number of digits. These are called strong semi-primes, and factoring them is the RSA problem. So the reason that this type of blockchain has not been created is because no one could figure out a way to get the blockchain to generate strong semi-primes for miners to factor without first knowing what the prime factors were. So you don't really need to know necessarily what prime numbers are to understand, but it's a way to basically secure a network, kind of like how proof of work works, but it's a different way. My solution to the problem is simple. Instead of generating strong semi-primes without knowing their factors, which no one could figure out how to do, create conditions under which miners can find these strong semi-primes by way of factoring and then reward them for finding them. So that's the slightly proof of useful work that goes into Factorn, and it's the finding of these strong semi-primes. And in turn, it helps the mathematical community. So that's where the useful work comes in, is because they always are looking for factorizations and semi-primes and prime numbers. So that's where the proof of useful work comes in for that. So as it says here, RSA Challenge created in 1991. A largest such award for this, which was basically factorization, was the amount of $20,000. And in addition to the interest from private industry, so banks and stuff, there's a dozen active academic communities that factor integers as a hobby in the hopes of advancing our knowledge of mathematical theory in various areas. So as I said, this is the proof of useful work aspect of Factorn. Obviously, they have a blockchain tied to this, and when a semi-prime or the prime factors are basically put onto the network, you assign it a block header and that creates the network for you. So in the main part, you'll be capturing a bunch of people from the mathematical communities to actually mine this, because it would further the mathematical development into prime numbers. And then on the other side, it would actually be used to secure the blockchain. So in the white paper here, it already says that the RSA Factorn Challenge, it talks about that and the $20,000. So that is to say, the Factorn blockchain would be in essence the 21st century version of the RSA Challenge, there would be a tip jar wallet whose funds will be used for the following purposes: fund the technical development, so that's obviously through the devs, fund the mathematical research, and fund development of related projects. If we go up, it shows that these communities, as in the mathematical and the private sector communities, are important because they can help the blockchain be more secure by factoring and getting rewarded, but also because they can submit numbers to be factored using their rewards, giving a monetary incentive for the miners who would traditionally not care about factoring to factor. So we're talking about hobbyists who do this on a daily basis. They could actually bring their skills over to mining, and this would secure the network obviously for the blockchain, and therefore they could get incentivized by, being paid in Factorn. This environment is likely conducive to animate investment in mathematical research given the incentive structure of the blockchain. It is a symbiotic relationship between the cryptographic community, the mathematics community, and the blockchain community, and the finance community. So a bunch of communities here that would be interested in looking into Factorn. This is probably why it won the CoinBase Community Fund, is because of this. There's a lot of interest from mathematical research standpoint, a financial standpoint, and a blockchain/cryptographic standpoint, because nobody had found a way to actually implement this factorization into a blockchain, or at least into proof of work before. So this is a new type of hashing. It wouldn't actually be called hashing, I don't think, but it would be a new type of proof of work algorithm that we would be using to actually secure the network. So it's very interesting stuff. That's basically the overview of what I'd give it. There's a lot that we could explore in the white paper, but for the most part, this is probably the simplest explanation for Factorn, and hopefully you understand a little bit about that. I'll leave links to all of these in the description below if you want to check that out. If we look on ZegX, I know people are interested in the price, so it's only been listed on ZegX for around a month. And since then, it was down at around $4, so it shot up to around $8. I remember mining by here. It's come down a little bit, down to the same price range, and now it's actually slightly starting to take up. So from $5 to around $4, up to 23 as of trading right now, and it hit a high of 26/27 around 12 to 10 hours ago. So for all you interested in buying it instead of mining it, you have the price charts here. So I believe it's only listed on ZegX for now. However, when we look at the block explorer, we can see that the coin supply, so as it said, the coin supply was the same as the circulating supply, so unlimited. However, the market cap was at around 1 million back here, and now it's actually up to 6 million. So a nice market cap increase over the past, I'd say, month. A lot of people getting interested in it, and a lot of people actually mining it. I believe it's best to mine it on a CPU, but you can mine it on a GPU. So I think the miner is set up mainly for CPU mining. It's definitely more efficient than GPU mining, so I'd stick to CPU mining if you want to start mining Factorn. And then lastly, we have the roadmap. So this is a brief overview of Factorn. It's not the full in-depth dive, but we'll probably do a live stream around it, so stick on the channel for that. So when we look at the roadmap, we have CoinMarketCap, which technically is done, but if we go over to CoinMarketCap now, we can see that the data isn't actually valid for CoinMarketCap, so there's not even any markets, and I know ZegX is definitely trading because we can see it right there. The market cap is slightly off, I believe, but this is self-reported, so they're obviously going to have to, revamp this and actually get the right data. I believe there's way more than that circulating supply. I think there's double that right now. So you can see here it is listed on CoinMarketCap, but the data is not available for it. And then it is listed on CoinGecko if we look here. And CoinGecko actually has the right data for the price. So it does say here on the markets, it's going to say listed on ZegX. And there's a pair for Doge. I don't really know why, but there's also a pair for USDT. Then if we go back to the roadmap, there is going to be BZ miner integration, and that's in progress. So opening it up to people that don't necessarily want to go through the process of setting up the miner through a bunch of GitHub pages, you can just set it up through BZ Miner, so hopefully that comes through quickly. Same for the mining pools as well, so we'll probably see a bunch of them on mining pool stats. As soon as BZ Miner gets integration, that's probably what's going to happen a couple weeks after. People will start developing pools for it, Then there's going to be wallet integration and the dead pool. So that's what's in progress for Factorn. If you guys want to do more research, as I said, everything's linked down in the description if you want to check it out. This was just a brief overview, letting you guys know about new coins in the space, or relatively new coins in the space that I'm mining right now, and hopefully you mine some and it takes off in the future. So if you guys did enjoy, please like the video and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.